Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the challenges of the Articles of Confederation. Let's check it out. Alright, so what exactly was so bad about the Articles of Confederation anyway? Seems like any time that you hear anybody mention them, it's always so negative. So what exactly was the problem? So let's just start with a little bit of background about the Articles of Confederation. Remember that each state remained sovereign. So the 13 states joined together because they had to fight a war together. They had a common enemy. And so they have this loose network of friendship or confederacy that they establish. It was never intended for the national government to be stronger than the states. So as part of that, they only established one branch of government. There was just a legislative branch. There was no executive and there was no judicial branch. And by the way, that legislative branch, it was unicameral, meaning that there was just one house of Congress. So it very intentionally created a weak national government. That was the whole idea. They wanted states to maintain their own power over themselves, and they would join together when necessary. For the most part, when necessary meant when it comes to things about war. So what could the national government do? Well, Congress, or the national government, could declare war. It could make treaties. It could raise an army, but it couldn't pay for that army, and that's a pretty big deal. It also could borrow money, and it could coin money. Now, so that's some power that the national government had, but there were some important things that it couldn't do. One of them I might have just mumbled a second ago. First and foremost, the national government could not tax. So if they wanted to raise revenue, they had to ask the states for money. So they'd say, hey, by the way, we're raising an army with this many troops. Please give us money. This is how much we think is your share, and that's how much is your share, and that's how much is your share. But that's all they could do. They couldn't actually force the states to pay taxes, and they definitely couldn't tax individual citizens. Another thing Congress couldn't do, which might not sound like a big deal right now, but it will later in this unit, I promise, is that they could not regulate interstate commerce, meaning trade between the states. They couldn't settle disputes between the states either. So again, what really could this national government do when it couldn't tax and it couldn't settle interstate disputes? Now, remember those powers that Congress did have? That they could make treaties, that they could coin their own money? Well, it turns out that states, they could ignore those treaties if they wanted to. So again, this is going to severely limit the national government's power. The national government could create their own money. So could states. So each state had their own currency in addition to the national government's currency. And states could also erect tariffs on goods traveling between states, so even the states didn't get along that great under the Articles of Confederation. So we go through most of the 1780s under the Articles of Confederation. But by 1787 it had kind of reached a tipping point where people were realizing that this government just isn't working out. And really the tipping point was Shays' Rebellion. So this is something that you probably have heard of in APUSH. This isn't about the story of Shays' Rebellion. What we care about is how it showed the weakness of the federal government under the Articles of Confederation. The lack of having a centralized military power led to a very slow and weak response to what should have been a very small and easy rebellion to put down. As a result of people seeing firsthand the weakness of the national government under the Articles of Confederation, it actually encouraged more people to support a new constitution that would empower a stronger central government. Now, just because everybody agreed that the Articles of Confederation weren't working too well, there was not agreement about what should be done to fix them, or whether we should just get rid of them altogether. So we have that debate, like video 1.3 brought out, between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, and the next video is going to talk about that debate at the Constitutional Convention. So what exactly should be done? Stay tuned to find out. Until then, this has been a La Money production. Alright, thanks again for watching this video. If you found it helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the great content. Till next time.